Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I am Sourav. Barman. 9 years ago, the country was witness to shocking visuals of 7 Dalit men being beaten up, being flogged in public by members of a cow protection group in Gujarat's Una. The incident triggered widespread protests across the state, and there was a movement, and of that movement, Jignesh Mevani was essentially leading that movement. Jignesh is now a seasoned politician. He's a two-term MLA. He's also the working president of the Gujarat Congress unit. We are glad that he's joining us for this interview where we will obviously talk about the trajectory of Jignesh as a politician over the last decade. But before we do that, we will rewind a little. We'll step back. Since I mentioned that incident, I want to talk about the fact that that entire period from 2015 to 2017, there were a series of movements across Gujarat. You obviously represented one of the movements. You were one of the faces to emerge in the Gujarat political firmament along with Hardik Patel and Alpesh Thakur. But the significance of that political movement seems to have completely fizzled out over the last decade. Why did that happen?
See, it should not be surprising. Where is that farmers' movement that we all of us witnessed? It is an unprecedented kind of farmers' movement we have seen on the streets of Delhi in particular and other parts of Haryana, Rajasthan and UP. It's an absolutely unmatchable, unparalleled kind of movement that we witnessed in many decades. Maybe in the human history, there are not many examples of that kind. So where is it now? Whenever a movement starts, it goes to its peak, and what goes to its peak does come down. But doesn't mean that there is no our movement. Right? The same way for the Dalit movement and the same way for the other movements. Of course, there is no partisan agitation as such, but there is a lot of unrest among the OBCs and tribals and minorities and contractual laborers and Dalit community, and youth is also on the streets. But the Una was a very exceptional movement, and Hardik also rose to the occasion. Alpesh was there, me was there, national faces like Kanhaiya, Chandrasekhar, all of us came together. It was like 2015 to 2017 periods. So, though that momentum is not there, and that those kind of momentum will be for only a limited period, but there is a strong Dalit movement. There is a lot of aggression, assertion. We are fighting. Before we met today, I was at a protest site, right, demanding housing and shelter for the slum dwellers. 2 days back, I was at Disa. Like 21 people died in a factory blast, which was illegally run by some of the BJP people. So the movement is there. It changes its shape, its form. It looks at times very, very energetic. At times, the energy is not the same. So it's like life. It's part of the game. Aisa hota hai.
You just mentioned that just before this interview, you had some protest.
Yeah.
Clearly, Jignesh, the activist, lives.
Yeah.
Just because he's become a politician.
He will never die.
He's still there.
Yeah. So the politician Jignesh will never be able to dominate the activist Jignesh.
That's very significant. So I want to talk about, your upbringing, your formative years. From publicly available records, it seems you had a middle class upbringing. Your parents were government employees, and you had your schooling, your college in government institutions. So, while growing up, did you face events that also shaped your political consciousness in terms of discrimination?
See, I have not been the victim of discrimination as such. But when you belong to scheduled tribe or minorities or Dalit in India, it's very obvious that you will see something in the eyes of the people who are not comfortable with you. When I'm brought up in Ahmedabad, but in my native place, we used to go to summer vacation during the festivals, Diwali and all that. So there you realize that why our Mohalla is on the outskirts, right? That's where you start realizing that you're treated differently. And when you get scholarship in the school, your name will be announced. Jignesh Mevani, serial number so and so, yes sir. Sandeep so and so, yes. So then you also realize. Otherwise, I am not. I haven't been the victim of caste discrimination or violence as such, but my concern comes from what I've witnessed, what I've seen in the society. And maybe the readings of Ambedkar and Bhagat Singh has really impacted me, some bit of Marx as well. So one thing is very clear in my head, till I breathe my last, all the commodities that I'm going to use, the wristwatch that I'm wearing, the shirt that I'm wearing, this glass or the camera which is recording this
Yes.
this sofa, everything is somebody else's labor, and you and me are enjoying it. So, isn't it very humane? Isn't it absolutely justified that you work for them? If you're not doing anything about them, then you're not. I don't know how to say, but you're not properly educated, I would say, because the salary that I get as an MLA, the salary that the Chief Minister of Gujarat gets or the Prime Minister of India gets, we get it from the सरकारी तिजोरी, और उसमें जमा होता है from the taxes. Taxes get deducted from the commodities, which is again somebody else's labor. So this focus is always there, and till I breathe my last will be there. So I work for the poorest of poor, for the ones who will be pouring out their blood and sweat as an industrial worker and as an all kind of workers. So that concern has always been there. And as I said, Ambedkar, Bhagat Singh, the readings, the seminars and the conferences that I've attended, the protests and the demonstrations and agitations have been part of. I have generated, I've learned from, I've seen objectively, I've reported as a journalist, as a freelance journalist. So all this exposure.
Before you went into activism, you were a journalist.
I've done a bit of practice as well in the High Court of Gujarat in lower court, not much, very briefly. But I was a journalist with a Gujarati magazine for 3-4 years. So this orientation as a whole has made me what I am today.
So you were a practicing lawyer as well?
Yeah, but I haven't practiced much. Just few cases.
The reason I also mentioned the fact that you had a middle class upbringing
Yes.
is also because, in our country, so middle class parents have a tendency of specifically telling their kids to avoid politics, to remain far away from everything that is political. So did that also happen in your case?
I was a kind of prodigal son, so I would not listen to my parents. And there was also kind of, freedom at my place. My mom and dad would never pressurize that you must get a job, you must get a government job, you must get married, you must do this, that. That must was never there. And I also had a very rebellious kind of attitude. So that these kind of family notions will always be there. And there will be your uncle, your aunts, and all of you will be telling you, settle down in life, do something else, or look for a secure job, become a government employee, clear GPSC, UPSC. All these things will come to you. But I had a very different personality from the very beginning, I would say. I always felt that I'm not meant to become part of the system in that sense. So though I'm an MLA, I'm more on the streets. So my work on the streets, which I do as an agitator, is always more talked about and discussed and appreciated than what I speak in the assembly. So that's how I am.
We'll talk about the fact that you like to view yourself as an outsider despite being a two-term MLA. We'll come to that. But before that, most of our, as adults, human beings, our political views are...
See, I must give a lot of credit to my parents. Not that they were very rich or they were not even upper middle class, forget being rich. But they give me this space and freedom. And we had long discussions as well. And all of them were not healthy. It was bitter at times. And they would mildly scold me as well that please take care of you. My mom will always be worried what will happen to you when you are in your 50s and 60s if you don't get the proper salary and all. But the rebel in me was enough strong to let me remain an activist. And therefore maybe I've been able to survive. And of course, I must say there are a lot of working class people coming from the poorest background who want to do something for the society, for the betterment of the people at large, for the mankind, but their material condition not let them. I had a clarity. I won't take a penny from my parents. I won't give them a pen, which even after a second term, I have not been able to contribute because I have not learned the tricks of the trade. So I'm always short of money. Every month I have to ask to the friends to support me to run my office in my constituency and all that. So, but still, as I said, it was very clear in my mind that I am an anti-establishment person. I will remain an anti-establishment person. That is something that goes with my temperament, the way I am, the way I look at things, and I will always be working for the poorest of poor.
Apart from your parents, who are the people who actually shaped your political views? As an activist first and then as a politician?
As I said, reading helped me a lot. And Van Gogh's, I mentioned in one of the print interviews after becoming an MLA, Shekhar was also there, I think. So Van Gogh's life, Lust for Life, I just gifted it yesterday to someone. And the conditions of the miners you see there, and some of the poetry of Maris, Faiz, some bit of Gali, reading about the life of Ambedkar, Bhagat Singh, Phule, so one of them shaped me. I've seen a lot of agitations in Gujarat. Chule Bhaibad, he was a Gandhi, and Valjibhai Patel, he's still there, one of the founding members of Dalit Panthers in Gujarat. Very fiery guy. Even at the age of 84, 85, he's amazing. So Mukul Sinha, of course, my mentor, he was there. He shaped me a lot. So all these people have contributed. So I've seen their journey, their contributions, their life, their work, their speeches, their seminars, conferences. So yeah.
You once mentioned that how activism has its own limitations.
Yeah.
So after a point, you cannot really have an impact on the lives of people. So now that you've seen both sides of the coin, you have been an activist, you have been a politician.
Yeah.
So
see,
how are different?
I always maintain the stand that it goes for the politicians as well. Because politics, as people say, is the art of fine compromises. There are like A, B, C, M, P, Q, R. Things that I want to do in my constituency. But the dynamics don't allow. Right? So I'm revolutionary in ideas, pragmatic in practice. So in my constituency, I can do all that I want to do. But when I'm outside the constituency, the real me, the real Jignesh comes out on the streets. So the compromise you have to make as an activist, the compromise that you have to make as a journalist, the compromise you have to make as a lawyer, the compromise you have to make even as a politician. So mine is that constant struggle, constant dilemma, constant battle. And I think that's going to be all throughout my life.
You represent Vadgam constituency in the assembly, and you have been doing it since 2017.
Yeah.
So it's a long time. So what are the failures? What are your big achievements as an MLA?
I think my biggest achievement as an MLA is that I've been able to the voice of the voiceless people of Gujarat. Not just Vadgam, not just my constituency. Apart from the developmental work that I've did in my constituency, I could set up biggest oxygen plant during the COVID crisis in my constituency. Highest number of employment we could generate through Manrega. Hundreds and hundreds of people got the housing plots. I got many government schemes implemented in a far better way than most of the MPs in MLA are able to do it.
And if you dual constituency.
So it's a completely rural constituency. But apart from that, the people of Gujarat see me as voice of everyone. Something happens to minorities, to the tribals, to the women, to the outsourcing and contractual employees. They know Jignesh is the guy. He will be with us. He will participate in our protest. He will shape it. He will raise the concern in the assembly. He will be with us on the Dharna. So I think that's what I've been able to do. Thousands and thousands of acres of land which is allotted to the landless people, in general Dalits in particular in Gujarat. The physical position is not with them. That struggle I've been taking up for quite some time. Even before you reform, this is 2009 to 12. I was raising those concerns.
And you continue to do that.
I continue to do that, and that is the biggest achievement, I would say. The real material gain the people of Gujarat got because of me is during these land struggles.
What is the gain in terms of numbers?
More than 2,500 acres of land people bought, and the market price in Gujarat will be around 600 crores of those lands. Otherwise, as an MLA in Gujarat, you get some 1.5 crore ka fund, which is nothing. So at the end of the 5 years term, if you get other schemes implemented properly there, then you're able to ensure some 20, 30, max 30, 35 crore to people, your constituency, to your constituents. But when you get the land, its market price is huge, and particularly in Gujarat, located on the outskirts of Surat or Baroda or Ahmedabad, or the big cities, and so very pricey thing. So pricey land part.
You can explain in real detail what
Basically,
actually do.
as a nation, as we know, we collectively decided to become a secular socialist republic, and the idea of socialism is defined by anyone, whether by Marx or Lenin, or whether by Gandhi and Vinoba, or whether by Phule and Ambedkar. There is one thing in common, that the distribution of resources has to be there. Decentralization of power, decentralization of resources.
Yes.
So, but the land was mostly with the Rajwadas, with the states, which become part of the Indian state, but it remained with them. So, in 50s and 60s, all the state governments came up with the policy of distribution of land. We call it land reforms policies. The land is allotted to the landless people primarily on two accounts, from the quota of government wasteland and from the ceiling laws. Like suppose in case of Haryana, it will be Haryana Agriculture Land Ceiling Act. In case of Maharashtra, it will be Maharashtra Agriculture Land Ceiling Act. In case of Gujarat, it is Gujarat Agriculture Land Ceiling Act. So which says that you can hold, like suppose 40 acres of land you can hold, but you 1040 acres of land. So 1000 acres of land will be taken away from you by the government. You will go, the interest will be affected not in your name anymore. After the ceiling is imposed, it will go to the name of government. And then the government, preferably in the same village or in the surrounding village, will distribute the same land to the landless people, so that the constitutional goal of bringing Samajwad, getting it materialized, becomes closer. We move a step towards that. So with this mission, with this aim and goal, the policies were framed in Gujarat as well. Though the policy got formulated, land got distributed, possession didn't reach to the Dalits. It remained wrongfully occupied and cultivated by the so-called feudal forces, dominant caste people. So now I've been, of course, before me, Valjibai Patel and many of the Dalit rights groups have fought. So since Una days and even prior to that, I've been raising this concern. And successfully, we've been able to get the possession of some more than 2,500 acres of land. In the market price would go around 500, 600 crores. So it's a very, very satisfying thing for me. I want to start this similar work in Rajasthan, Haryana and Maharashtra as well. I started talking to the people. So that is something which really drives me. Because suppose if you become MP or if you become MLA or even if you become collector, you can't give to the people at large, to the citizen of India, to the citizen of Gujarat, nothing bigger, nothing more important and significant than a land you can give. Otherwise, you will like BPL card and some sort of schemes.
It gives you a sense of identity also. As a
and to dismantle this casteist socio-economic structure, land reforms are vital in India. Who will become landowner and who will remain landless is designed by caste. So to dismantle this casteist feudal socio-economic structure, land reforms are vital. And to some extent, I've been able to successful, but it's a very small achievement, but still very satisfying for me.
Clearly, your views align with that of, say, Rahul Gandhi. So is that why? Is that what drew you towards the Congress party? Because you're
the party also. Me and Kanai had a long chat with Rahulji. We sat almost for 4 hours. Yeah, prior to joining the party. We had long discussions on secularism, on social justice, on the Dalit issues, on the issue of unemployment, even on the agricultural crises. He's a very deeply philosophical, ideological person. So obviously, we gel up a lot and very human, very kind when it comes to personal talking. And he tells that you guys will be able to remain what you are and continue working, keep doing what you're doing. Along with that, here is a platform and we can do a lot. You can enhance your impact. And that was exciting for me. And so far, it's good.
So, I have covered both the 2017 Assembly election in Gujarat as well as 2022. And there was a stark contrast in basically the energy that the Congress party put in both its campaigns. And even Rahul Gandhi has admitted it.
Yes.
Why did that happen? Why did you just give up in 2022?
I would not say we give up, but we didn't, we as a party failed to articulate the concerns of the people of Gujarat. The way party as a whole should be on the streets raising the concern of the people, doing the job of a Vipaksh. We couldn't do it. And therefore, and of course there was Aam Aadmi Party as a factor which they also ate away our some 12 to 13% votes.
So that's because you were not on the ground.
Even if you were not on the ground, then you've been watching Salman and Shahrukh and Amir for quite some time. And all of a sudden when Ranbir Kapoor comes, he or she will also get some bit of market. So एक नई चीज का वो होता है, तो वो भी एक हुआ. And we couldn't put up the right kind of narrative, and we must admit, which we are admitting, that we failed as an opposition in 2022.
No, but nothing has changed even in the last 3 years. You continue to slide in local body polls recently.
In last 2 years, we couldn't do well in the local body elections, but as a force of opposition, we are more articulate and we have been raising more and more concerns. Though we are just 12 MLAs in the assembly, if you talk to any journalist.
We had 17 MLAs, but 5 of them
left. We are now just 12. But if you talk to any journalist who have been covering the Gujarat assembly, they will tell us this time our performance was quite well. Not just by individual performance. As a party, we performed very well inside the assembly. And we are more we are hitting the streets more. So, and the way Rahulji is also given the challenge in the parliament, so there is a lot of pressure also on us. We're feeling that pressure. And in the last trip, he also said that there are people who are hobnobbing with the BJP and they will be sidelined, and hopefully that will happen. So now Congress party will come back. Congress party will come back strongly. And I'm saying this not because the camera is on. I'm saying this for all the seriousness. You see me exactly on the same date, same time, after a year. You will see a better Congress in India. More articulate, more youthful, more energetic, more vibrant as a force of opposition.
No, but Rahul Gandhi, as you mentioned, spoke about BJP agents in the party and the need to throw them out.
Yeah.
He would not have said that without feedback from the state.
Yeah, I also give the feedback. We also give.
It's a fact that there are BJP agents in Congress.
There are, see, most of the people have, frankly speaking, most of the people are now with BJP. They have changed the guard, right? Most of the people. But still there are a few creatures who need to be taken care of.
Most of them have shifted politics.
Most of them. Last 20 years, a lot of people have left the party. And those people who will be hobnobbing because of the financial reasons, who wanted tenders and contract and those kind of stuff, they have already left the party. But और भी जो 2-5-10 बचे हैं उनका भी कार्यक्रम बनेगा.
When Rahul Gandhi mentioned that on the stage, I saw the crowd cheering. It was
Yeah.
loud
So
cheering.
what we used to share it with media, off the camera, off the
came on
record,
you.
came on his lips. So it was our voice. That's what they felt. They identified immediately. Their response was tremendous. Even the people who, like me, who on the stage, we were like all chuckling and smiling and laughing and doing elbowing. He means it. No, you hopefully.
You may have been smiling, but there were a lot of other leaders. Were everyone smiling like you, or there were some blank faces also?
Sourav, dosti bani rahe. Pani ka glass do.
No, I'm serious.
Of course, you
But the entire state unit was there, so you must have been chuckling. But I just wanted to know whether
not each of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them were happy with Rahul Gandhi's announcement.
Implying a lot.
But nothing seemed after that announcement. It's been a month.
It's been just a month. Wait for a while. It's like it's
We haven't seen people
switch on and switch off.
We haven't seen people being thrown out yet.
It will happen. I'm telling you all seriousness.
Right? It's not just about 2017.
Rahul ji, in that speech, which media hasn't focused, the most significant part of his speech was become a really credible Nishtavan Vipaksh. Forming the government is a secondary thing. Become a credible opposition. Love people of Gujarat. Be with them. Be amongst them. Take care of their concerns. Fight for them. Raise the issues which they want you to raise. Become a credible opposition. This is the first thing that we need to achieve. Then comes achieving power. That was the message that he gave, which I really liked, and that's what we will be working on.
It's not just about capturing power, he said, but without power, how do you?
No, it's not.
It's a politics.
Then of course we want to gain power, but it should not remain confined just to achieving the power, gaining the power. Right before, it's like we are 2.5 years away from the our next elections. It doesn't mean all this while they remain silent. We have to fight.
Jignesh, you are a young, thinking political man, apart from being a regular politician.
Thanks for the compliment.
Yes. So, it's not just about 2017 and 2022.
Yeah.
Congress has not been in power for over 3 decades.
Yeah. In Gujarat, of course.
Party which
Yes.
dominate the state
Yes.
is not been able to come to power. What's ailing the Congress party? Fundamentally, what is the problem at the root?
So
It's tell us
frankly speaking,
also.
frankly speaking, Gujarat is definitely a tough nut to be cracked, and it's a very delicate issue for Mr. Modi and Amit Shah, and even for RSS. In the way the corporate forces, capitalist class is aligned with RSS and BJP, it has become very difficult for Congress, and the way we should have fought for the people of Gujarat, we haven't. They haven't fought our narrative. They are not maybe agreeing with our story, with what we are saying, and we will introspect.
But has Gujarat been
See, it's been just 3 years, 3.5 years I joined the party. So the entire blame is not on me. But being the working president, I have to take the blame. I have to I can't get away, and I am admitting it genuinely, not to sound modest, but I genuinely believe that you failed as an opposition, and therefore this has happened. So I will be working hard.
What are your responsibilities as a working president? Because you have a full-time
I'm
president.
to take care of the organization, like to participate in all kind of events of the party, whatever task the party assigns me. Whenever some issue happens, I go and raise that concern, to speak in the assembly. So all kind of things.
So the last big political success that the Congress party managed in Gujarat was in 80s when that coalition came together.
See, I tell you one thing.
Clear.
I tell you one thing. Though we have not been able to form the government for the past 25, 27, 28 years, whatever, or what shares except the last elections is quite intact. So it is just about that managing 5 to 7, 8, like 6 to 8% what that we have not been able to take.
That's correct.
That is where the dog is going. So when we are also wondering what can be done, and we are arguing on that, hopefully some strategy will tweak to us.
This is where I will commit to that. In the 80s, you had this, you made this coalition.
I sincerely tell you one thing. Let me interrupt. You and me are fighting against each other. We are on the battleground. You have 2 swords in your hand. I have 2 swords in my hand. I can defeat you, and then I can claim, see how powerful I am. But if I kill you with guns, then explore just better. That is what it has become. Right? The entire machinery comes to the rescue of BJP to support them. So ED, CBI, income tax, it may seem a little cliche as we have been raising this for quite some time, but it is like that. Even if you take the case of Gujarat, like police officers, like collectors, SBMs, executive magistrate, entire machinery goes madly in support of the BJP Karyakartas and BJP candidates. So match if always uneven, unjustified. So that is also something we are struggling with. And the kind of money that BJP RSS have now, the kind of money they have been able to accumulate is absolutely unmatchable. The way they use the mainstream media and the news channels and marketing agencies with the resource they have is it's not that easy to correct it.
But despite that, you gave the BJP a scare in 2017.
Yeah.
It's not as if the Congress party has not been winning states.
Yes.
It has been won many states.
Yeah, but still, it's difficult. It's not that easy. I was telling it. Doesn't mean that we will fight. We will fight. We will come up with a. I personally want to kind of have started working also as to what do we stand for, right? Apart from reacting and responding to what BJP and RSS have done and have been doing, what kind of Gujarat, what kind of society we want to create, what we will do if we come to power to deal with the issue of agriculture crisis and unemployment, how we will protect the minorities and Dalits and tribals and women, or what we will be doing for the small and marginalized people, for the small and medium scale businesses, enterprise, what will be our blueprint to create institutions like SAP and NID and KIRMA and IIT and IIPs which we created in 60s to 80s. So एक नई गुजरात के निर्माण का एक ब्लूप्रिंट उसके ऊपर भी हम लोग थोड़ा बहुत काम शुरू किए तो I think that we attract people.
As a responsible opposition party, what do you think are the biggest issues which are affecting Gujarat right now? The kind of issues that are not coming out as prominently as in the national media as it should.
The one issue that really touches to my heart, raising that we may not be able to fetch the votes, but is kuposhan. Right? When Narendra Modi ji was the CM of Gujarat, out of 140 children were malnourished. Now, Bhupendra ji is the CM of Gujarat. Out of 140 children are malnourished. Gujarat has Banas Dairy, Dudh Sagar Dairy Mehsana, Banas Dairy Banaskantha, Amul, very popular dairy that we have. Despite of we contributing to some 45 to 47% in the entire milk production of the country, if I'm not wrong. So get to connection. But I think it's like that. We have 40 children malnourished. This is Gujarat. It not be like Bihar. Right? But since we have better infrastructural development, these issues don't get required attention. Narmada Canal network is also a very big issue. For the past many years, the Narmada Canal network is not giving complete care. Government is all the time focusing on the growth, but it is jobless growth. Otherwise, why people from Ahmedabad or Surat or Rajkot or Baroda or North Gujarat going to the Mexico border to receive bullets on their chest and back? In thousands, right? So, why? I attribute it to the agrarian crisis, which gets covered up because of the Gujarat model Kitabe and all that, and also because of the unemployment. I don't think in the past, पिछली बार मैंने कब सुना, मुझे याद नहीं कि खाली पड़े सरकारी पदों में भर्ती होगी, उसके ऊपर कुछ काम नहीं रहा है. Performance of public health and education is not much. Even if the government of Gujarat builds good schools, if at all there, most of the government schools are coming down now. They're like decreasing. They're shutting it down. But whenever they create schools, what is the quality of education? That also is a very big issue. It's constant attack on tribals and Dalits. First Rights Act is not implemented. Sanitation workers are lying inside the sewer. Minimum wages. You know, the right away sitting with the Ahmedabad Sankit House, NXC. 3 years back, I made a lot of effort and then they got the minimum wages. Recently I spoke in the assembly. There is no minimum wages even in the chief minister's office. No minimum wages to the contractual laborers who are employed, engaged at the premises of Gujarat Vidhan Sabha. No minimum wages to the government secretary house. No minimum wages to the workers of the MLA quarters. So denial of minimum wages, exploiting them, is one of the big concerns that we have as a state.
Before you offer this alternative vision to the people of Gujarat, do you think there should be?
I don't think that I have offered. I've been raising these concerns. When I said presenting an alternative vision, it should be something comprehensive, more detailed, more graphical, more sexy, more appealing, more cool, more charming, more gravitating, and then we should be able to take it well in advance, not just in the form of a manifesto that gets public attention a month or month and a half before the elections. I've been requesting the party higher ups that we should come up with a blueprint of creating a better Gujarat, new Gujarat, much before elections, at least a year and a half, so that we have this enough space and a time to take it to the masses.
So once you have that, in order to take it to the masses, you need to have a strong presence at youth level or the nation level.
Yeah.
Do you feel there is a need
So
for some restructuring and reshuffle?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a reasonable organizational presence, but there need to be, those cadres needs to be energized. They need to be given some bit of positivity that we can create Gujarat. We will fight. We will make it happen. We form the government. We come to power. We create better policies. The people of Gujarat will see better life. So that comes only when you really fight on the streets. That's where you get the confidence that कुछ हो रहा है, अब कुछ बदलेगा, आप कुछ करेंगे. And secondly, you need to, as a party, when I say you, I'm saying tell it myself. So we as a party need to have regular cadre training, cadre building programs. Without ideological orientation, you don't get ideologically driven, committed cadres. And when you don't have ideologically driven, passionate, committed cadres, you can't take on forces like RSS and BJP.
Because Rahul Gandhi says it's an ideological battle.
Yes.
So how do you fight it out?
So we have a training session as you in Varda. And that the team of Varda, Meenakshi Latarajan, Sachin, now all of them, Senthil, they've been regularly doing this ideological training and they've created a lot of people. People of Gujarat also attend them. But that similar kind of exercise should take place, in my humble view, in all the states. Maybe starting from Gujarat. So I also want to personally not take charge of it, but want to contribute in that process. Because when there is an ideological orientation, ideological training as to what kind of society we want to create, what is the spirit of India's freedom movement, what was the what issues were discussed and debated, deliberated in our parliament, in constituent assembly debates. So that is where you get clarity about your ideological position. That ideological clarity, you take it to the masses. And that is where you are able to counter RSS BJP in a much better way. And without ideological commitment, you can't create anything.
Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. The last big political success of the Congress party was in the 80s, and that happened due to this coalition you built of Kshatriyas and Harigans and Muslims and Adivasis, and they yielded some success for the party. So do you think you need to have some similar disruptive political idea to?
I think we must focus in rural Gujarat on SC, ST, OBC, minorities, DNTs. We also should have a plan for the urban pockets. Surat, Baroda, Rajkot, Ahmedabad, Porbandar, Bhavnagar, Jamnagar, Gandhinagar doesn't think the same way. Neoliberal ethos have taken over.
And Gujarat has become more urban.
And Gujarat is already highly urbanized. With every passing day, it is getting more and more urbanized. And the aspirations of the rural people and of the tier 2, tier 3 cities also bringing them constantly to Surat, Baroda, Rajkot, Ahmedabad. So how do we crack the urban India, urban Gujarat? What are their aspirations? How the Gen Zs think? What do they want? What kind of housing colonies we create? What do we do to take care of the concerns of the entrepreneurs, enterprise, business? Because mercantile ethos also dominate the Gujarat psyche. Of course, it is overemphasized, I feel, at times, but it is still there. It's part of our culture. So we need to focus on urban pockets as well. So it may require a different blueprint. The jargon of SCs to visit minority may work mostly in rural Gujarat.
So the pitch for caste census will not have that much resonance.
May have less impact and influence and resonance in Surat and Ahmedabad than to tribal pocket or where the Dalits are in huge numbers. Compared to rural Gujarat, it will have less impact.
Before we wrap up, so you'll have the.
And I think it's going to be a lot of flooding for me, a lot of flooding for the party, because cracking Gujarat will take a lot that requires to crack if nationally, right? It will help us as a party as a whole and as a force of opposition. So Gujarat is going to be a very interesting fight.
Do you need to have changes at the top in the state unit also? Do you think some changes are needed at the top?
Let the अधिवेशन get over. Party will consider.
Party will consider changes?
Yeah. Party will consider changes. Party will consider changes.
At the top of the Gujarati bureaucracy.
I'm also part of the Gujarat unit and also working president.
So
let us see.
So the AIC session is going to be held in Gujarat after 6 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Why did the party choose specifically Gujarat? Is it because
that could decided in Karnataka, in which I was not there, but it's good that they picked up Gujarat. They've selected Gujarat. It's for good reason, I think, because the challenge that Rahul gave in the parliament, I see it in harmony with that. It may not be that consistency there. And for the past many years, I think this is happening after 6 decades, probably 64 to 67 years.
Yes,
ago, it happened in Bhavnagar. So and it's good that 2,000 something delegates from across India will be coming here. Our family is coming. We are, anticipating a lot of Marathis, and we are the host. So there will be a lot of interaction, a lot of dialogue. It will energize our party cadre all throughout the state. Though all of them may not be participating, I see it's a very positive move. It's exciting.
Thank you, Jignesh, you gave us time for this long, winding conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.